Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Crypto Catch Up. Happy Saturday. Of course, this is your number one place to catch up on crypto. And today we're going to be taking a look at some news that we've been getting over the last 24 to 36 hours because it's honestly been absolutely ridiculous how much Blackrock and Wells have been accumulating. I want to talk about why this is so big, what it could mean, why they're doing this, and much more. And so with that said, guys, let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into the video. So let's start off just getting a feel for the market. And of course, it's been a bit of a up and down recently, right? On the dailies, we can see the crypto market's looking pretty damn strong. ZEC, INJ, OM, Crow, HNT, and SUI doing really damn good, but seeing a little bit of some bleh from some of your other ones, right? We see Brett down a little, FLR down a little, XMR down a little, but overall, nothing too crazy going on over the last 24 hours. Now, if we do zoom this out to the weeklies, we can see that things are starting to look better, especially than they have over the last few days, but we've definitely not recovered fully, right? We've definitely not recovered fully from all of the losses that we saw about 7, 8, 9 days ago throughout that little time frame, but we are getting back to that zone, right? We're getting a little bit better, 13%, 11%, 11%, etc. Not the 30, 40% we were seeing earlier in the week. Now, on the month, yeah, things are definitely still looking a little bit rough, and that just goes to show that where we are in this market is that we're still in a spot in which we're trying to recover, right? Everyone's kind of screaming that everything's back and we're so back and all this stuff, and I am starting to align with that from more of a fundamental thesis perspective, which we'll talk about in a second, but from a price perspective, we're not back, right? We are still in recovery, and that could mean that we're still in a damn good buying opportunity if you are looking at altcoins specifically. Now, if we do actually look at the crypto fear and greed index to kind of support that, you can see here, we're at a 40 right now. You have to remember that in the last year, we've only spent 26 days in fear and 2 days in extreme fear, which is less than 9% of the total amount of time that we spent, or that we've been within the last, 365 days. And so knowing that we're back within the zone of fear, I definitely would say this mixed in with the fact that we still are recovering from an altcoin perspective, I would say that this is still a decent time to buy. Probably not a great time to buy as a result of just knowing that, we were buying at the bottom of that crash here on the channel. Shout out to you guys. But still a decent time to buy for sure. I definitely think still a decent time to buy. Now, all of this is amazing and I think a lot of it is being fueled, and the fact that we are starting to see this recovery and the fact that we are seeing the dailies turn a little green by some of the inflows that we are seeing at the top that are now starting to trickle down to the bottom. Now, some of these inflows are being led by Bitcoin, and by some, I mean basically all of them, and it's due to the fact that whales are now stacking like absolute crazy. I mean, more than we have seen ever, realistically. Like, it's nuts how much Blackrock and other whales are doubling down on their positions right now. It's insane. If we do kind of just look at some of the differences here, right? Just earlier today, Blackrock buys 160 Bitcoin. Not a ton, but a little bit, especially considering the fact that the market was looking weird. Day before that, Blackrock bought 2,642 Bitcoin just within the span of 24 hours. Absolutely nuts. We go a little bit further back. Wisdom Tree, BTCW, buys 1,900 Bitcoin, doubling their AUM in just 1 day, guys. Going a little bit forward, BlackRock buys the dip. This was 2 days ago, in which they picked up 3 days ago, 897 Bitcoin within the span of 24 hours. And it has just continued on and on and on. Now, on top of that, we've also been seeing the clear change in trend over the last few months, in which the whales have really started picking up their activity, right? We obviously saw that when the bear market started and we were pulling back, whales were starting to increase their activity slowly but surely, right? They were just accumulating throughout this dip. Then right here, when the market started to pump throughout the beginning of this bull market, whales kind of slowed down. They really just allowed all this accumulation that they did to ride, see what would happen. And now that we've gotten up to this level and we've seen this little cool down and pullback, they've gotten even more confident, picking up a ton of their trading, picking up a ton of the the amount of Bitcoin that they're picking up. And the reason you can tell that is quite simply just knowing that inflows have totaled higher than outflows recently. So although some of this volume is outflows, more of it is inflows, and that's all that matters. And so knowing that, obviously, it's crazy to see, and this is crazy news to see just how much the whales are accumulating Bitcoin at these levels. And it almost makes me start to wonder if our thesis is really starting to come true. You guys know that I have pretty consistently been saying that I believe that where we are for crypto, actually, let me just get Bitcoin pulled up right now. I have said rather consistently that I believe where we are for crypto at this given moment is that we are in what's called a consolidation or a cool down period. I believe that this is not the top of the market. I believe that we are just in a cool down that is going to be followed, even if it goes further, even if we go back to the low 40s, even if it dips to 38 and then comes back up. At some given point, we're going to use this structure to break our way back up to 70, 80, 90,000. I think we are going to set a new all-time high as a result of this structure at some given point. Now, with that in mind, obviously, that has been more of a thesis. That's just been somewhat of more of a guess because there is no way of truly knowing in this market. But as I am now seeing the wells accumulating more than ever at this given point, doubling down like crazy, having Blackrock insiders coming out saying that they want to get to 40, 50 billion AUM, which is double what they're at right now. By year's end, guys, that's only 3.5 months at this given point. I'm starting to feel like this thesis may come true. And we've consistently talked about the fact that we have interest rates dropping soon, which over the course of time historically leads to risk on assets climbing. Not immediately. Immediately, they actually usually dip, and then they climb as a result of that. We have presidential elections approaching. We have all of these different catalysts or possible just changes that are going to happen within the environment that definitely could lead these different cryptos to start seeing growth. And whenever we can see that the macro structure from a technical perspective is clearly in a cool down, is clearly going sideways, is not crashing, is not creating lower lows, is not doing any of those things, to me it feels like the thesis that this may be some type of just consolidation, like our friend Thomas says here, that this may be some just consolidation before some type of pump, feels like it could possibly be coming true. And if we look at history and see what happened, right, each one of these vertical bars, these vertical lines, is the halving. We saw the halving, we saw a pullback into a consolidation before the rip. We saw the halving, we consolidated into the halving, we consolidated another few months after the halving, and then we ripped. Right here, we pumped into the halving, we're consolidated after the halving, maybe we're going to rip here. And so whenever I just see this news, I want to share it with you. Whenever I see that wells are accumulating, I want to share it with you because, listen, they are lizard people is what I call them here on the channel, right? They're lizard people, and they have a lot of control and understanding of the market from a much deeper perspective than we do. And if they're doubling down, tripling down, hundreds of millions of dollars of money and dollars going in to this asset, you have to recognize that something is happening. Something's happening. What exactly? Hard to tell. But what I do know is that if some of the most credible investors in the world, right, who run the everything, to some degree, right, everything, are trying to buy as much of something as they possibly can, maybe it's a good idea for us to do it too. And that's the reason why we've been accumulating. That's the reason why we picked up Bitcoin at $49.5 thousand. Why we bought Solana on Sunday around $117, $119. It's the reason we're doing that. Because I recognize their bullshit when I see it. And when I'm seeing all this FUD get posted and pushed everywhere by all of these different media outlets, but the wells are behind the other side of things, buying, I recognize that bullshit. And that's why we buy so much here, and that's why we've done so well. And so as a result of that, guys, again, I just wanted to share that with you today and just show you what the wells are doing. Because at this exact moment, when we're still in fear, when most of our indexes are still oversold to the downside, the wells are buying more than they've ever bought before, and they're doing it for a reason not being known to us. I don't really care. I just know that it's never been a bad idea to buy a little bit when they are. And so with that in mind, of course, I hope you guys do enjoy these videos in which we're literally just going deep into the metrics and getting an understanding of what's actually happening within the world of crypto. Not just this surface level bullshit, we're actually seeing what's happening, and we're trying to peel back that surface level layer to get a real feel for the world of crypto. And guys, remember, this is a brand new channel. We're 8 days old right now, pushing up to 500 subscribers as we speak. And so if you guys do enjoy this content, if you guys do think it's valuable, all I ask that you just subscribe to the channel and like this video so as many people see it as possible and we can continue to grow. I have a goal of 1,000 subscribers by October, and it seems like we might smash through that. And so if you could help me on that journey, that would absolutely be amazing. But with that said, guys, that is going to be about it for today's catch up, and I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.